welcome to another episode of BlankCanvasTV.com. My name's Andre Knott, and we are changing the way you see and experience art. And today I'm excited. I'm excited because we are here to visit two of my very good friends, Karen and Jim Carter. And Karen and Jim Carter are here because they are, well, they're art promoters, art presenters, and art educators as well. And it gives me my great pleasure to actually introduce them to the show. Thank you for joining us, Jim. Karen?
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
G'day, good to see you. Good to see you. We're here in Atlanta, in fact, and Atlanta's got a pretty hot art scene, in fact. It's got a city of about 5.5 million people, and so obviously a lot of people in the art world, a lot of people in the entertainment industry as well. And can you tell us a bit more about the art scene here, Jim?
Well, the art scene is very active.
Yeah.
There are art galleries all around the city that have terrific artists, have terrific shows. There's always a lot of local art that's involved, and national artists and international artists that come out.
Right. Okay. And so you've represented a number of artists from the city here as well.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. And Karen, where did the whole representing of artists start for you?
We have been interested in collecting art for many years. In fact, when we would travel, we would frequently pick up some local art to bring home with us as a memento of our travels. And when Jim retired from Procter & Gamble a few years ago and I left Georgia State University, we decided to make our passion our career.
Right.
And that's when we started representing artists.
Now, who did you start with representing?
We started with a man named Marvin Posey from Nashville, Tennessee, a fantastic painter, but not real good on the business sense, not real good at promoting himself, and that's where we came in.
Now, have you noticed, Jim, throughout your time working with artists, that tends to be a bit of the case, that there's kind of the necessity for an art dealer in between the artist and the gallery?
Well, it's not so much a dealer as it is somebody to promote the artist.
Right.
The artists are artists, and they typically are not business people.
Right.
They produce beautiful art, but the idea is to get people excited about the art, and that's the job of an agent. Okay.
And the agent does everything. What are the jobs of the agent that you see in your mind's eye?
Promotion is probably number one, getting together marketing packs that showcase the artist's talents.
Yep.
Ideally, you put together a DVD, promotional marketing that shows the scope of the artist personally and professionally.
Yes.
And then finding the locales where we can set up the shows and introduce this artist and his art or her art to the public.
And another idea is to get the artist involved with other artists of different genres. For instance, one of the artists that we work with, Eric Waugh, painted musical pieces. So getting him involved with musical groups made a huge difference in the ability to promote him and be seen by other types of audiences.
Right. Now, you mentioned Eric Waugh, and Eric Waugh, for those viewers out there who have not seen his art before, you can go see it at ericwaugh.com, I believe. But he is a fantastic and very internationally acclaimed artist from Toronto, Canada, living in Montreal today. But Karen and Jim actually represented Eric for quite a number of years. And where did that whole scenario start for you guys?
He owned his art before we ever met him.
Right.
And then he came to a gallery show here in Atlanta, and since we owned his art, we went and met him, talked about what we did with representing artists, the live painting performances. He was interested. We called him back a few months later, and we'd been working with him 5-6 years.
Wow. And what was it about, you mentioned performance art with Eric's work. What did that entail, Jim?
Well, it was one of the parts of not only Marvin Posey, but Eric's art that we felt was really important for people to have a connection to the art, to be able to watch an artist create art in front of their eyes. It's one thing to see an artist do the work in a studio and then they bring it out and unveil it. But the idea of being able to see it produced in front of you made a big difference. So what we did with Marvin, and then following with Eric was to encourage them to paint live. And that's not easy to do because you have to have a lot of self-confidence to be able to do that. Both of them grew into that very well.
Right, and I think here's a lesson for artists out there who might be asking themselves, how do I get better presented? How do I get better promoted? How do I get myself out and about amongst the art community a bit more? I mean, I think it might be a lesson for you to get more hands-on with the people, with the clients, at the shows and whichever opportunities you get to meet them, but also at things like what Jim and Karen are saying, where the artists are painting live in front of an audience, essentially. It becomes a piece of performance art as well as being an artwork, a visual artwork as well. Can you tell me as well, who did Eric paint with? Which famous people when you were dealing with them?
With the Doobie Brothers, with Sheila E. and Pete Escovedo, Herbie Hancock, Tony Bennett,
Nelly Furtado,
the Rippingtons.
Jeez.
A lot of big name groups.
And some orchestras as well, right?
Oh, correct. The New York Philharmonic, the Rochester Philharmonic,
That's
the
huge.
Brooklyn Jazz Quartet.
Right.
Very diverse, very eclectic, and it just showcased a variety of his musical tastes.
Right.
And his ability to combine that art with the music and a synergy of energy that told a story.
Sure.
Told a story on the canvas.
Well, I think the other part of that is having a different venue for an artist to express themselves in front of people. There's an energy that I've been told that comes from the audience watching them perform, just like a musical performer gets an energy from the audience. So does a painter, and that ends up on the canvas, and that makes a big difference. The performance art was very different than studio art.
Because it's a one-off, right? It's something that happens only once, of course, like any original artwork, but it happens because of the interaction that's happening as well, right?
Correct. And that's why the agents are so important, because they bring the artist and the venue together, and the artist and the other artists together, and show them how to work together so that the musical performer doesn't feel that they're being slighted, and the painter doesn't feel that they're being slighted, so both of them win.
Right. And so there's this, like you're saying, a synergy between all parties. It's win-win for everyone. And I think when it's presented that way, at least in my dealings in the past, that the crowd and the audience gets to see the art best represented or best seen in its best light, wouldn't you say?
Exactly.
Because it's interesting, artists are artists, and it's fantastic they have this amazing ability to be such brilliant artists and exhibit such brilliance in their work. From the same point of view, marketers and people who are interested in art dealing are also brilliant in their ability to bring that to the public and show it in its best light. And that includes gallery shows, it includes live painting performances and the like.